Hi, and welcome to our podcast, Learning Leading Now, where we talk all things education and Mobile County Public Schools. I am your host, Director of Communication, Renee Phillips, joined by our co-host,
Sally Erickson, Community Engagement Specialist.
And our guest of the day,
Krystal Smith, Human Resources Personnel Administrator.
Awesome. And so one thing, we talk about schools, we talk about work. We also talk about our kids a little bit on here. And Krystal, you've got a 10-year-old in the schools.
Yes.
How's life going with the fifth grader?
Oh, it's challenging, but it's fun at the same time.
Never a dull day.
No, never a dull day. We packed snack bags for campaign week last night, and he was nominated for Artist of the School.
Oh, cool. So we have a student council person.
That's right.
That's so when are the elections then?
Friday.
So
yeah. Today was Candy Day and campaign day. So
does he have a shot?
He does. He's good.
If you were voting, you would vote, right?
I would.
Yeah.
I would vote, even though he draws when he is not supposed to sometimes, but he got nominated.
He's creative.
That is awesome. So my son ran for president. He was president of Mary B. Austin Elementary. And the funny thing was he got our dog in a campaign picture. Oh. And that helps. So if you'd like to borrow the dog, you may. But it was funny because he said, Chase says vote for him.
Cute.
And at the bottom he put, this is a real dog, not an actor. So it was funny. But it's fun. I love when their little brains start working and they get in a campaign mode and think about doing the different things, huh?
Exactly. His slogan was, vote for me, candy for free. And I said, you have to say something about being an artist too.
Did he draw on the candy bags or anything?
He did that part. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I was the campaign manager for my cousin Heather way back in elementary school. And so, of course, the campaign slogan was, whatever the weather, vote for Heather.
Oh, did she
I
win?
like that.
She did.
Awesome. See, we have a great track record. So I think he's going to win, huh?
Yeah, me too. We'll see. I'll let y'all know. I have to let you know.
Yeah. But that goes back to, too, we teach them the reading and the math and all that. But then it's also learning those real world things.
Right. And how to lead and perform and be social. He's running against a third grader. So I'm having to keep it very sweet.
Yeah. Well, and it was funny when mine ran, he was shy at first. And I kept saying, you're going to have to go up to people, like find a new person every day that you don't know and say, hey, vote for me. And so at first he's like, oh, that's dumb, Mom. And then he did it and he loved it. And he'd come home every day. Hey, I talked to such and such. Hey, I think I have the third grade vote. Hey, I have the after school care vote because I'm the only one in after school care running.
Right.
And so it's just funny watching their wheels as they kind of learn. And that's good for, too, whether you're a politician in life or just in general, to get out there and just say hi to people and get to know people. It helps in the HR world, too.
Oh, yeah, it does. We do a lot of people helping in human resources, and we love it from one point to the end. It's very interesting and rewarding when it comes down to our students.
Well, and your job involves a lot of, how shall I put this delicately, counsel skills, right? Mitigation, being able to see both sides, and all of that.
Yes, it does. And in my area, I work with certification, and so sometimes you get inquiries about how can I be a teacher, or what does it take, or what does the certification process looks like, and sometimes explaining that and making people feel like you can do it. If you want to invest in our kids and become an effective teacher, if I show you how to do it, if you commit, we can make this happen. And so that's really what I try to do. I commit to that part of human resources, making people understand that investing in our children and in a career like education is very important, and it makes a difference.
It's the most important job, I would think, or, up there with policemen, firemen, all those things. Not firemen, firefighters.
Firefighters, yes.
Police officers.
Yep.
And nurses and doctors and teachers, I would say. Those are all very important. And it's Thank Alabama Teachers Month.
Yes.
So Sally's been having a good time with that this month, like talking to some of our kiddos about what they're thankful for in their teachers.
Well, I went to the Environmental Study Center this morning, and there were a large group. There was a large group of high school students, and I got them to do a little video thanking their science teacher. And I think one of the reasons they were thankful was just because they were in a beautiful setting, because everyone loves the Environmental Studies Center. It's such a great place to visit, so many different things to see, all the animals, all the birds, and they were just funny. Just high school kids crack me up.
Well, and that was a great thing that we found out about because WKRG was looking for a story. And so we called the Environmental Study Center and they were there. And they're doing these cool things down at Bryant with their Coastal Studies Academy where they're learning about, today they're learning about coastal animals, right?
Well, they were observing different habitats. They had a checklist and they were walking through the woods and checking off all of these different aspects of biodiversity. And they went to the pitcher plant bog, things like that. Wow. So, and a lot of people don't even know the Environmental Studies Center exists, and much less that it has a pitcher plant bog and that you can rehabilitate animals there. So it's just such a neat place, and they were having a good time.
It really is. I finally went to the pitcher plant bog a couple of years ago, and I'd always heard about it working at the newspaper with environmental reporters. They talked about how special we are that we live in this climate along the coast, and it's neat. Like you can walk out, you walk on a boardwalk, and you see these neat. It's my kids love this because they are plants that eat like bugs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anytime a plant can eat a bug
Yes,
or something,
they
it's
love
pretty
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carnivorous plants.
Yes, that's the
Pretty cool.
word. That's
Yes.
much. Sally says it much better. I'm just like plants that eat bugs. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they see that on cartoons and TV, but to see it, actually, that's fun.
It really is fun.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, we're in a house of boys, so that
Right.
kind of stuff is super, super cool. And they're testing the water quality at Bryant. But what a great day at school, don't you think? Like hanging
yeah.
out, walking the
Yes.
trails, looking for habitats, and such a neat thing that we have in Mobile County Public Schools. is the
Well,
Environmental Studies Center.
the slogan at the Environmental Studies Center is "Best Day Ever" because they see a lot of kids, younger children especially, who have just never had the chance to roam around the woods or look at a pretty lake. And so going to the Environmental Studies Center is just such an exciting field trip for them.
Yeah. And speaking of best day ever, my son is on a field trip today to the International Festival downtown Mobile. Oh. So he's probably eating his way around the world right now.
Yes, I remember those. That was always fun.
That was
A lot of food and culture, information. So I know that they're having fun.
Yeah, and such a great experience, I think, also just to go and learn about the different countries. And I think it's a great place. One of the great things about being in Mobile, we're so diverse and there's people from so many places around here. So it's neat to get to know them. Sally and I were at Learning Leading You, and we have a couple of participants who speak other languages. And so it's just neat bringing that in. Like that's reflective of our school district where we have about 63 different languages.
They were all parents. They were all talking about how they got involved because they wanted to know more about our school system. So that was
Excellent.
just really great. That's exactly the kind of advocate that we want to have.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
And another big thing this week that we got to go to was BC Rain High School. I love BC Rain.
Yes.
They have a aviation and aerospace academy there. And so they held an event to thank Representative Barbara Drummond because she's been able to secure $350,000 from the
amazing.
state. Yeah.
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 Yes, it is. We did certification for the teacher there, and he is just so excited about that program. They are so lucky.
Yeah. So what that is, so the kids there have built one airplane and now they're building their second airplane. And as Crystal knows, it's hard to find someone who can work in a school all day long and help children learn how to make an airplane.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Mr. Gary, he is so good. I mean, the certifications that he has and the knowledge that he has about that program and about that field. I'm so glad those kids are getting a chance to experience that and build an airplane.
Yeah. Well, they have the wings. They're working on the wings right now. So he was showing us those and the students were super excited. And I guess their goal is to finish it this year. So
Good.
but yeah, because they did it before and it's been a while because finding the right person to do it,
That was
a
a big
challenge.
part. Yes, that's right.
Well, Crystal, maybe you can talk with us a little bit. I'm thinking back to when we all worked together on the teacher recruitment fairs about how your department has worked so hard to streamline the hiring process to make it easier, and getting rid of the requirements that didn't make sense in terms of the process of applying. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about some of the different things that people might be interested in knowing if they're interested in applying with our system.
Yes, definitely. So we went to the drawing board and tried to make things easier and more simple. Made it where people could understand what the process was and what they needed to do. And maybe about 3 to 4 simple steps. Only one trip to human resources. We were trying to eliminate the back and forth, and taking time from the classroom where they had to come and submit information. So basically, you submit an application, you interview with the schools that you're interested in. The principal would let us know that they're interested in hiring you, and we take it from there with email communication. And our email communication, it basically tells you everything you need to know without you having to come or call. And so you can submit things electronically. We got rid of a lot of paper, so there's not a lot of handwriting on paper. You submit electronically, we process, and we try to get you in the classroom as quickly as possible. And so that's where we are now, and we've seen a tremendous difference in the time frame that it takes to hire somebody, because the bigger picture is we need good, effective teachers in the classroom as quickly as possible so our kids can learn, and do the best that they can every day. So we are proud of our new process. We really are.
That's great.
So it's go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I know that you've also hired a lot of support staff this year, and so I'm sure that's been a gratifying thing to see.
Yes, it has, and making the process easier for them as well. I mean, technology is a part of everything now, so explaining those steps and getting them into our schools so that our principals and students have the support they need outside of their teachers. Registrars, front desk people, custodians, cafeteria workers, bus drivers, they are very important. And so we don't ever want them to feel left out or not helped in the process. And so our when we change things and try to make things better, it was about everybody that we could include in helping them go through the new hire process, become a part of our family, our MCPSS family, and get out there to those schools and at central office so they could do their jobs. That was the big goal.
Yeah. And we want them to work, but we do have some requirements being a school system.
Exactly.
So there's a drug test, there's a background check. Can you tell us about those?
Yes. So when you are requested for a position after you've interviewed and been selected, we send the communication out about the drug screen and background check requirements. And those steps are easily defined in our emails. And so what we ask our applicants to do when you're requested for a position is to follow those steps. Get your background check done, get your drug screen done. And once we get the clearance from those, we start to move very quickly with the other parts of the process. The safety of our children is very, very important, and we are going to always put that first. And that is why that is at the very beginning of our hiring process when we select individuals to be put in those positions. And so that is first. We get that done. Transcripts and other things that are part of our process, we get that done too, but first and foremost, drug screen, background check. Once that's done, we move along and get people working.
And
so
that's
our
something
kids
I think
can have them.
parents want to know, that their kids are safe, that we are doing these checks on all of our employees.
Yes, and we are not relaxed about that part of the process, because the first thing is that they are safe and in good hands. And so we communicate that to our parents, and we want them to trust that part of the process, which Human Resources takes responsibility for it, because we monitor and make sure those two requirements are met first. We don't move forward until we have that done. Yeah.
So what types of jobs, it seems like we're hiring quite a bit. Obviously, the spring and summer are very busy times for you guys as we're getting ready for the next school year. But pretty much we have jobs open throughout the year.
We do. One of my passions about filling positions in our district is making sure people understand that coming to work in Mobile County Public Schools is it's a career and it's a job, but it's also an investment. If you can come and give whatever you have to our students and to our district, whether it's teaching or cooking or cleaning or driving the bus. We want you to know that we need you, and we want our students to have people that care and that are effective. And so when we are hiring, even though we are putting our processes first and we're making sure everybody is safe, we do want people to understand that the positions are there. We are usually always hiring, and sometimes it's due to retirements, and sometimes it's due to relocations and other. Everything is, it's not always a negative situation as to why we have positions open.
Sure.
But when we have them open, we want people to believe that they can do the job, and to know that if they can pass the background check and drug screen clearances, that we want whatever work they're willing to put in to make our children have the best day every day. That's what we want, and we do believe there are people in our communities that can make that happen. We do believe that some people are intimidated by education, but we need you. So apply and interview so we can get you started working.
So we need teachers, bus drivers.
Cafeteria custodial. Basically, it's constant, and like I said, it's due to different things. But go to our job openings page on our website and look and see what we have. And once you do that, we do have principals that are always checking those lists and trying to interview and see when you can come in. And then once you do that part of it, that's when human resources gets you ready and make sure we're hiring the best capable people for those positions.
One thing I've been really impressed with in my short time here in the district is the amount of professional development that is offered for our teachers and principals and other personnel. And I'm thinking of the recent training that we all went through, as in central office was also required to do this, where you have to watch some videos and answer some questions about how to handle a student who's having a diabetic episode, how to handle a student who might be having an epileptic seizure, how to what you should do if someone cuts herself. And those are all things that you have to put that time in, that investment, but it's professional development for you, because it's these are things that we all need to know what to do in real life, not just in the classroom. So I was just impressed that the entire staff was required to do these things.
Yeah. Something you might use at home or at the grocery store,
You
and
never
you see
know.
somebody.
I agree. Always good information. Yeah, you can use it in school and at home. Like, you're right. Most of the candidates that we have, one of the first questions they ask us is, what professional development do you have available when I start my position, or what support do you offer? And so you're right, when we can offer that PD and give them the support and training throughout their tenure in their positions, it just makes everybody, I learn something new every day, and I'm always seeking to be better at my job. So
Yeah.
I like that we give that, constantly.
And instructionally, I know we launched this school year off with the learning launch, where all of the teachers and professionals came to the convention center for
That
2
was
days.
fantastic.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a big team building exercise for so many people.
Yeah, and they learned about the Marzano strategies, like how to reach children who might be struggling or who come from poverty, and just how to be more effective every day of their job. So I think that was a great training for our teachers to go through. And then also we see a lot throughout the year and during the summer, teachers get to go to like space camp or to different professional development opportunities that they come across in their respective field, if they're a science teacher or a math teacher or that sort of thing. So we do offer those types of experiences because we want you to be the best teacher you can be.
Right, that's right. Yep, always.
And not all the teachers come from an education background, and that's one thing that you work on in your job. Like, if I'm a scientist or a business person and I'm getting this calling, because we know teaching is a calling, and so if I get this feeling that I want to make a difference in the lives of children, I want to be a teacher, how do they do that?
I am so proud that the Alabama State Department of Education has alternative certification. That sometimes is looked at as though it's less or negative. It's not. There are very educated people who are capable of teaching our children successfully through alternative certification. And what that really means in a simple way is that if you do not have a traditional education degree, which means that you went to school to be a teacher, with a 4-year bachelor's degree, there are teaching opportunities and certification opportunities for those people that are interested in teaching. And so back to my point about convincing people to contribute and be invested in teaching or education, that is where I really have to start my conversation with making people realize that we have the positions, we need you, and you can do it, because the State Department has designed several alternative certification processes specifically for people that are non-education majors. And of course, you would start with applying, interviewing, and being offered the job, and then that's when you become my friend and I help you through the process. Most of the processes are 2 to 3 school years, but it's while you're working as a teacher and getting paid with benefits. And so there are specific requirements that you have to work on along the way. But if you hang in there and commit to the career of educating children and putting them back into our communities so they can be successful, that is the core that I want people to care about and think that is, rewarding and beneficial. And so those processes, we have the provisional certificate process, interim certificate process. There's also a new special education certification process that has allowed us to hire special education teachers in positions that we were struggling to fill before.
There's always a need for special education teachers. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And the process, I'm very impressed with the process that the State Department came up with, because it's feasible. 4-year college degree, acceptable GPA. You will have to complete 5 college courses, but that's over the course of 3 school years while you are working as a teacher. So, and then there's a praxis at the end, like the other process require the praxis to be passed before you start, where this special education process, they're giving you 3 school years to work as a teacher and take it by the end of the process. And so we have gotten a good response from that process. And there are ways to do it if you just call me and let me help you and explain it to you.
Well, that sounds really awesome.
Well, and it's that flexibility, too, that the state has given us over the last several years in particular, as there's a teacher shortage. But also one of the areas that you work in is with the TEAMS Act, and that's helping us keep teachers.
It is helping us keep teachers. And another thing that I am impressed with, about the TEAMS program is it is requiring professional development that is building our teachers that we already have as well. And then the students benefit from that automatically. They are required to complete professional development, but they have the opportunity over their tenure to make up to $20,000 extra, in their salary. And so these are for math and science teachers. Computer science is also a part of that program that kind of gets left out a little bit. But for alternative science and math teachers and professionally certified math teachers, you can participate in the program. And I am the administrator for that program. I can help explain that to anybody that is interested. We have about 200 participants in our district.
That's
a little
impressive.
over, actually. Yeah. So I'm very proud of that program, and it's like you said, it is helping us retain and professionally develop the new math and science teachers that are coming on into the program, and the ones that we already have, and that can only help our students and help us help each other, while we're teaching.
And it makes their pay more competitive, so it's more attractive of jobs. And also the retention part is important. I know my son had a math teacher who was about to retire, and she stuck around for a couple more years because of the TEAMS Act, and because it helps with your retirement, right?
Yes.
Like
it does. It does help with your retirement and extra money. We all need it at this time. So yeah, I probably know who she is, because we have those conversations, and it's worth it to stick around and make that extra money while you're contributing to students' math and science education and helping us get the scores that we need and get them where they need to be.
Yeah, the kids benefit. They're keeping those high quality teachers. You're
Yes.
attracting some, and like you said, they're getting that professional development.
Exactly.
I am sure that we are also hiring substitute teachers. So can you give us a little overview of, let's say one of our listeners is interested in becoming a substitute teacher. What should he or she do?
Yes. So our substitute process, it is simpler as far as getting on our website and applying. And so once you apply, we are monitoring those applications. Once we go to process the application, there is also a drug screen and background check process as well. There is a substitute certificate application that you'll need to fill out. Currently, Ms. Shawn Todd is our substitute teacher clerk, and she is very good at what she does and getting you processed. That process is we've modified that process as well, so it should be simple and easy for people to apply and become substitutes. We also need substitutes, so don't hesitate. If you're interested, please go on and apply and go through that process so we can get you in the classroom to support some of our teachers who may be out for professional development or because they have some extenuating circumstance where they can't be in the classroom. We do need those substitutes.
And we I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say, I think it's really cool. We've recently increased the salary
That's
on
what
that.
I was going to say.
Yeah. And I know it's good for retirees to do as well. I know my mom up in North Alabama, she was a nurse and now she is substitute teaching. And what she loves about it is the flexibility. You can decide which schools you go to. If you're taking a vacation, you just don't take calls that week, but her phone will start dinging and she's offered substitute positions. And it's the flexibility.
that's
you work when
fun.
and where you want, right?
That's right. And you can choose. Some people have their favorite schools that they like to work at, and some people go from one end of the county to the other just because they are willing to help principals out when they know they need that help, and they love certain children at certain schools, but we need them everywhere. And anybody willing to go through that process, go through the substitute teacher process and become a substitute teacher, I will let you know what as far as the certified substitutes, they're paid $140 a day. Retired teachers, $115. So those are those rates, and so we need you to apply. And if you're interested, we would like to get you through that process.
Yeah, and those are pretty good rates.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Has that helped us to get more too with the rates?
It has. And then we have long-term situations
Someone's
sometimes.
on maternity leave or that
Yes,
sort of thing.
and those are at $260 for certified.
Wow,
Yeah.
Nice.
So
that's pretty good.
it is.
So if you want to be a teacher, you want to be a bus driver, you want to be a substitute, anything in the school system, how do they get in touch with you guys?
You can go to our website at mcpss.com. Once you go to our website, our system, if you let that drop down, it's going to take you to Human Resources. And when you go to our Human Resources webpage, there's a job openings tab that's going to take you exactly where you need to go. And there's an Apply Now button that is there for whatever you want to apply for.
That's right.
That's
And how
awesome.
can they reach you if they need some certification?
Certification, I am Krystal Smith, the certification administrator, 251-221-4515.
Awesome. Well, thank you for everything that you do
Thank
to
you,
keep our
Krystal.
schools staffed.
You're welcome.
We'll catch you next time on Learning Leading Now.